Greetings and welcome to TV AIBD. Hi, this is Philomena Pragasim, and you're with me on Connect with AIBD. Today, I'm speaking to a very prominent figure in education. He's none other than the chairman of the Brickfields Asia Education Group, Mr. Raja Singham. Welcome to the program. Mr. Raja, how are you today?
I'm good. Nice seeing you again, Philomena.
Yes, and for those of you who don't know what Raja and Singham actually means, it means Lion King. So, and definitely he's a lion in the field of education, in the field of many other areas that Raja is involved in. He is also an educator, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. And he was named Education Man of the Year by the Brand Laureate and received the National Outstanding Educator Award in 2015. And that's not all, you know, he's got awards that are enough to go around anywhere. And he's also known in the lives of many, many people who are in need, especially during COVID-19. The pandemic has actually created many opportunities for him in the sense to help others in his job as a philanthropist. I won't call it a job, but I think it's his passion. So he was also appointed to the ASEAN Business Advisory Council as a council member and is a lead in the entrepreneur division. And I'm so proud to be interviewing you today. Raja, welcome to TV AIBD. This is a digital platform and we are reaching across to our members all over Asia, Pacific and Africa. So tell me, how did you get into this field of education? You're a lawyer by training and here you are with the education field. Tell me, how did you go into this?
I started 30 years ago, actually. I started teaching at the age of 23 after I graduated. And I was doing a lot of teaching while I was a student as well, helping my peers, my classmates, and others who were junior. So it's something I've always enjoyed. I've actually been a teacher, I think, all my life. And then we set up the school when I was 24, but I started teaching when I was 23 for the postgraduate, the professional courses. So it's something I've done really all my life and something I really enjoy. So our whole purpose, our whole ethos is to try and use education as a means to transform lives. And I think that has stayed with us till today.
And I think that is something that, like you said, stayed with you till today. And you're not just focusing on building your business, but you're also contributing towards society and education for all and many, many recent initiatives that you've undertaken. Now tell me, what does Brickfields Asia College, it started off as a very small entity, but you saw an opportunity to actually focus or look at one key focus point that was law. You decided to brand that. Now tell us about your journey there, Mr. Raja.
Okay, when we started, it so happened I had a legal qualification. I was a lawyer by training, and hence it made sense to start with that. And one of the key things we did was we built a brand basically on legal education. But in recent times, what we've done is that I always feel it's good to be a specialist, and that's why we focused on law. But in recent times, we've also, through either mergers or acquisitions, in the case acquired IACT, which is the oldest mass communication creative comm school, which actually predates us. It was set up in 1971. And through that, we now do film, broadcasting, media, communications, PR, advertising, that whole group of courses within the creative communications industry, and even social media marketing, digital marketing. And then more recently, we acquired Reliance College in an exercise which took us into hospitality, tourism, and events, and now culinary within that stable. So one of the things we learned over the years is how to go in, specialize in something, and then do that really well. And we now are taking what we've learned and going into other areas. We've set up Veritas, which is the world's first paid forward university, an online university, which offers education at a fraction of the cost to give it, greater access to people to come in. And then we've got BAC Singapore as well. As we try to go out to the region, we've got a BAC which we acquired in Singapore, and now have got lots of students in Singapore, Hong Kong, India, and other areas. So the law started off as a specialism, but now we have quite a number of specialist niche schools, which are each specialist in a particular area. And a lot of what we have done in Breakfields, we are now taking them, the BAC means of doing things, into these other areas. So it's building that ecosystem and then scaling up and taking that to other specialist areas.
And it's fantastic because it's also an entrepreneurial skill. You are also sitting as the mentor of the ASEAN Mentorship for Entrepreneurs Network, or AMEN. And this is indeed interesting because you're also doing a new type of buyovers. People call that, some people do startups and then they sell it. For you, it's like you keep acquiring new businesses. Now, that's also an interesting thing that you're undertaking as an entrepreneur, Mr. Raja.
Yeah, in entrepreneurship, I think one of the key things I've always enjoyed being an educator, entrepreneur, and I always feel entrepreneurs are the driving force of any nation because they create jobs. Mm-hmm. The more entrepreneurs you have, the more jobs they create, and the economy will move. And I think that's a way that we should be thinking, and it's a better way to build a nation. And we should do whatever we can to encourage more entrepreneurs, help them in their training. So one of the things we've done is I've been the lead mentor for the ASEAN Mentorship for Entrepreneurs Network because of the ASEAN BAC tie-up there. And we mentor tons of entrepreneurs, many of them to help them. We've set up Project Entrepreneur. So that's something that we have funded, where we're training 10,000 entrepreneurs in Malaysia. And now we've even got those outside from other countries in ASEAN. And the idea is to grow these businesses, whether, MSMEs, whether they're micro business, small, medium enterprises, to help them grow, to help them scale up by giving them knowledge in a whole range of things, from finance, branding, pricing, the regulatory aspects. So, but we run these courses, businesses come in, they get a chance to network, and all of this is fully funded, so it's free. But what we are hoping is, as we build these entrepreneurs, some are setting up new businesses, others are trying to just grow their business, giving them access to faculty, to experts, to other industry leaders, and then from there they grow, and hoping that will help to create more jobs and help drive the economy. So Project Entrepreneur is one of those interesting projects, which sits together with another project we have called Project Deep, which is the Digital Enterprise and Employee Program. So there we're actually trying to jumpstart building a digital workforce for Malaysia. So we've offered training for 10,000 people. The average cost for this is 5,000 ringgit per person, but it's totally free. And that's funded by the BAC Education Group. It's about 50 million ringgit worth of training. So in areas like digital marketing, social media marketing, data analytics, full stack programming, graphic design. So all the new areas where there are jobs available, because there is a huge skills gap in Malaysia. And what we're trying to do is fill that gap by offering these programs. So people who are unemployed or graduates, who did a degree where they're finding it difficult to get a job, they can do it. Or even as a matter of upskilling. So that's 50 million ringgit of training, and we're looking at upping that as well.
Fantastic. And before I go on to your trainings that you're doing, I also want to say that you're one of the very few universities, I would say, people in the education group who actually looked at advertising. And I say this because you've launched BAC, the brand, together with whatever Fox News Sports or the Premier League and so forth. And no one has ever done that. So that I found is really, really exciting, because what a way, because marketing and advertising is definitely the way forward for businesses. What's your comment on that, Raja?
We've always done things different. So I think we are the only school, we've done MTV World Stage. We did Selena Gomez as a concert. Yes. We've done the Neon Countdown, because within the group, we also own event companies, which organize these kinds of events. We have our own media agency. And for me, it's always been about the experience. So instead of just putting out ads, we try to say, well, give out 1,000 tickets to MTV World Stage. And the young people, 1,000 to 2,000 tickets as a sponsor, and they get to come in and experience something like a concert with Carly Rae Jepsen, Jason Derulo, and all these guys, which they will remember for the next 20 to 30 years. So the idea was to have a fun, a different type of element to it. So everything we do is, it's not just about advertising or marketing, it's doing something different. And we would try, I think the key thing about us is we would try anything once. So we've advertised on the planes, like the Mars planes, on the cinemas, in hotel rooms, on the, as you said, the Premier League, the English Premier League, for about 4 to 5 years. And but that's just part of it. But we would try anything once. And because we're very entrepreneur driven, we are always open to taking risks and trying new and interesting ways to get the message across. But a firm believer in trying to build experience-based marketing, let people share experience and enjoy something like a concert or something which they may not have otherwise been able to.
Fantastic. And I think this is also a great way of creating brand loyalty and, remembering and retaining whatever that Brickfields Asia stands for. There are many ways of building the brand. And I think this is a fantastic move. I'm also very excited to talk about some of your very other interesting projects. You founded Backflicks.com. It's a free online learning portal. I like the way you sort of, went straight into digital. And you're one of the very few people who actually ventured when everyone was talking about face-to-face. You were already on this online portals, Raja.
Actually, we set up this free education portal for school children in 2013, 2014. And it was actually for free education, initially for the Form 4 and Form 5, which is the O-level batch. And then we went down to the PT3 and then to the primary school. So 11 years of school. And we have thousands of videos, and we were running it, for quite a few years. Initially under the name Education, then we changed it to Backflicks some years ago. And what was and I wanted to put even our college and our universities online, but I always had this resistance from the faculty because so some of them would do it, some would be recorded, some would not. But I think what got everybody in fast gear, and because we had the expertise and the team, was COVID. So when the pandemic hit last year, February, March, we started doing hybrid. But the key thing we had was having the people on board and the fact that we've been running it for quite a number of years, which made us much easier. In fact, the transition process was a lot easier for us. One of the things is the number of people who registered. I remember just for the primary Chinese schools, which was in Malaysia, we had 40,000 kids register in 3 days. About 190,000 people on our free education platform. And what we're doing this year is we're going to, in the next quarter, we're amplifying it and we're trying to take it out so that kids for, migrants, children of migrant workers, refugee kids, not just in Malaysia, outside, will be able to attend, these classes online and be able to learn. So to me, a key thing is to try to make sure that nobody's left behind. And one of the things we're launching next week is a project called, we've been doing small projects before on laptops and access, but we're launching 1 million devices, which is basically to get 1 million tablets and computers to the hardcore poor. I mean, if we can use that, that term, and the orang asli or the indigenous people, in order to help them, because they've got no access, they've got no devices, and they've got no data. There's no point having a device and no access, no point having access and no device. So basically, we're looking at about 1 million devices to go out, 100,000 a year over 10 years, and it's fully a private initiative. And I know we have the capability to do it. So not only do they have, at the moment, we have the content. So they've got all their lessons, videos based on the school syllabus, and we are constantly upgrading that and updating it and getting more content on board. So we have 190,000 students there. All in all, currently we have about 200,000 students studying with us for free through various educational initiatives, whether entrepreneurship, on a digital workforce, on the school syllabus, and we plan to up it and do more as much as we can. To make sure no one gets left behind, child or an adult or not a single person should fall behind.
I think this is something that is very vital, because during the pandemic, I think it is the children who have been most left behind, especially those who are not having the digital facilities or connectivity problems. Like you said, they don't have a device. Some homes, they just have 1 or 2 laptops, and there are 4 children or 5 children doing school online. How do they manage this? And that is the very thing that United Nations is saying: build back better, and no one should be left behind, especially where connectivity is concerned. So I think this is a very important area, because you are actually initiating or mobilizing the private sector to take up this call by the UN that no one should be left behind. So this is indeed an applaudable mission by you, Mr. Raja Singham. It's really, really exciting. And, like if you look at Asia, Southeast Asia, right? A huge portion of our people are young people. I think it is a young population that we have. And connectivity is so important. So like you pointed out, efforts of BAC is not just confined to Malaysia, but you're looking at creating an ASEAN leadership as well with BAC, and also working together with the Malaysian government and ASEAN itself. So this is indeed very exciting. But let me come back and ask you about the pandemic itself. You said that BAC was ready because you had already started being online portals and so forth. Tell me, how has the challenge been for you as an educator, as a person who owns a business, education business, doing education online? The shift that has taken place, it's a huge quantum leap. So everyone is online now, the whole world. So what has it been for the education industry?
I think, I remember when we went down in Malaysia, our lockdown was on March 18th last year. I think for the first 19 or 20 days, I've never worked as hard, in many, many, many years. I was doing like 19, 20-hour days, or sometimes maybe even 20 hour, 1 hour, at home, trying to get everything sorted out, because you worry about your own family, you worry about your work family, the team BAC, my work family, and then you worry about these thousands of students. And we work with 200 over NGOs, running over 200 charity events a year, and couldn't help but worry about them. But for the first time, we actually had to, lock everything down and look after ourselves for a while first, because if we were going down, then we can't help all these people as well. It's like when you're in the flight, they always say, on the oxygen, put it for yourself first before you put it in the child. Right. So I think for the 19 days, I actually was feeling really bad that we were not really be able to help others in the normal way we would reach out and help people, because we were like, okay, we really need to see how we're going to get through this. But having said that, we coped. I mean, we made a lot of investments in technology. Because what we were using as a platform for the free education was not as savvy as what we want to use for the university. So we had to make big investments in terms of technology for software, up the game there. Later down, we even made a lot of investments in terms of smart boards, large TV screens, more than R1 million on that. Then we started investing on training, because we had our team, and our team was 6 people who were managing the online, moved to 20 over people now. So we actually started hiring people and getting more experts and people on board for the online training. And I think it managed, and actually our students have done very well in the exams. Even the national exams with the CLP, they've actually done very well. And we managed to pull that through. But then I started looking at things like, what could we do differently? And suddenly one of the things I thought of is around by July, August, as the new batch was starting in September, because as you know, this thing started in March, April. The students then were having their exams in May. So it was just like April and May. And then our students have a 3 month holiday, and then they start in September, very much on the UK September to May type term. So in August, I suddenly thought, like, what if I could get, and this is why the pandemic creates also a lot of opportunities. What if I got some of the leading law professors in the UK, universities like Oxford and Cambridge and London and in some of our partner universities, to get them to teach our students throughout the year. So I reached out to friends of mine who are academics in the UK and said, would you be able to teach our students 2 hours every week for, say, 15 weeks or 10 weeks? And we got 18 teachers to come in and set up what's called a global law faculty to get a lot of the leading textbook authors, the leading academics, who now teach our students every evening, for example. Every evening, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like 4 days a week, they have classes in the evening. So in addition to our strong local faculty, they suddenly had this extra faculty, and it was a given, it was free. We didn't increase the fees or anything, but all of a sudden they've got, I'm reading this guy's textbook and then he's teaching me. So that changes things. Then we had, just before the pandemic, we had LinkedIn Learning, which we did a deal with LinkedIn for all our staff and students to get that, which gives them 17,000 courses in areas like, anything from strategy to finance, marketing. So that was there for the students. Then in the courseware, I suddenly looked at online, there was Coursera. And Coursera has this, over 200 universities. They've got people like Duke and Johns Hopkins and Stanford and Yale. So I did a deal we're the first ones who did a deal with Coursera for Malaysia and Singapore. So all our students can now get those courses as well. So while they are studying, say, their degree now in the first year, they are now going to do AI and the law from a university. They do strategy, they do data analytics, say, for example, from Johns Hopkins. So all these micro-credentials come in. So in a sense, it changes things again. So what we have now is we've got a LinkedIn faculty, we've got a Coursera type faculty with all these certificates that they get. So in, say, year one, in addition to whatever your teachers are teaching you, you get all of this. And then now they're sitting in a class where they've got classmates from Hong Kong, from Singapore, from Malaysia. So actually technology, and now it's before you had one lecturer, your lecturer comes to class and then he teaches you, and then you have a tutor coming to teach you, and these are the two main guys. But now all of a sudden you say, well, I want to learn, from something, and I get a qualification from Yale University. They can do and get a certificate for that. So we actually signed a 3-year, multi-million-dollar contract to make sure all our staff and students got this. So it's constantly, now people may not sometimes see the benefits of these things because they're like, what is there? But to me, the whole world is changing, and it's changing. So like now our law graduates, we have brought in legal technology as a subject. They've got new venture creation as a subject. They can do project management as a subject. Because to me, there's a convergence taking place, and knowledge cannot be in silos. And we want to be ahead in trying to create tomorrow's graduates. Sometimes they themselves may find it slow to hop on board. But we created during the pandemic Abacus, which is actually, we had our physical libraries. We then created Abacus, which is a digital library. So for every book, or whatever books that we had in the physical library, we tried to sort e-versions out. We sourced e-versions out, put that in, increase the library by 4 times, 5 times on the digital side, 24/7 access, rebranded it, worked out new softwares. Then we set up BAC Learn, which job is to take everybody online. So there's a whole, we created this thing called Learn Different: learn, play, work, and impact. And in these 4 facets, learn covered everything that you would learn, qualifications, etc. Work will be, like we had job portals like Grad Jobs, Just Law, a whole range of job portals to help people. We've got Jobs for All with the Bakeso, which we have just launched with the first virtual job center with the government. And then we've got Impact, where we work with all these various projects. And the other one is Play. So we set up BAC Engage, over 150 online activities and play. Now we're going back to school, so all the gym and everything. We got a virtual race platform, so people can take part in virtual virtual runs, and anywhere. Even our students have gone 2 years in Malaysia and have gone off to UK for the final year, will be able to continue running with us, and we can see them on leaderboards. So a lot of it has been pushing the envelope, reinventing the extra, the experience, investing more and more money into it, and trying to create a new experience. And often being ahead of the curve as we bring out these new things. Sometimes before the rest of them say, hey, what is this? They've got now a virtual race platform for the college, or we had virtual gym where they were doing classes online. So it's fun. Virtual dating when the students have their blind date,
Okay, so I can see that the pandemic has indeed opened up a huge opportunity, and many new innovative ideas that have come across from your organization. And I'm so sure, Raja, you are in the center of all this.